Hi, this is Representative Daniel Pae. I am here to discuss my journey into a career with public service.
Welcome back to the Defining Moments podcast, where this episode is powered by Freedom and sponsored by our great friends M&D Drilling out of Waller, Texas. Today's very special guest, he's Executive Director of the Asian Chamber here in Oklahoma City. He's also the People's Champ in District 62, defending champion, House Representative Daniel Pae. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me on, Long. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about, what did you do today? You were talking about you were reading books to kids down in Lawton.
Mm-hmm.
So is this an every week thing, every month thing? What's up with that?
Well, it was actually National Ag in the Classroom Week. And so the book that was given was talking about farm boots. And so it had various pictures of different activities in the different seasons, and talking about the importance of agriculture, because as you know, we have a rich history in this state when it comes to this particular industry. And whether it's the breakfast you have in the morning, the clothes you wear throughout the day, there are ties to the agriculture industry. And so teaching that to kids this week is typically the week after Labor Day. I've done this for a few years now. This was the first time. Normally I go to one elementary school, but I guess I did a great job last year reading to the kids, so I had to go to 3 different elementary schools this morning, and then drive up here to be with you this afternoon. So that's a typical day in the life of a state legislator. Every day is different, and you just got to roll with the punches.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the agricultural community. I'm a big fan of it. And I worked on farms because my uncle, growing up, he had a farm in Piedmont. So what's your favorite thing about the agricultural community?
I think just how widespread it is. And again, going back to the history of this state, where it truly transformed a lot of people's lives. And you think about that entrepreneurial spirit of getting down and working hard at an endeavor. So whether it is baling the hail, raising cattle, what have you, it takes work.
Sure.
And it takes a lot of patience, especially in the weather we have in this state.
Right.
And I think that's pretty cool to have in this part of the country, that be one of our major identities. And of course, we are in an energy state, so there's a rich history with oil and gas as well. And now it's interesting with the economy. Besides agriculture, energy, you have aerospace, you have tourism, you have all these other areas that are rising and thriving in this state. And I think that's a big part of the reason why we've advocated for lower taxes, less strenuous regulations on the private sector. There's a reason why so many people from California, New York, and all these other states are moving right here.
I gotcha.
And I think the culture, because, and I've been to a lot of these other places, there is something to say about the people here being very hospitable and just warm and generous. And you don't really see that in other parts of the country. So I'm glad we're here in Oklahoma. I think we have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah. So for the listeners, if they don't watch this on YouTube, you're Asian American. And from Lawton, Oklahoma.
Correct.
District 62. What counties make up District 62?
Well, my district's only 19 square miles.
Okay.
There are colleagues, they have perhaps 3, 4, maybe 5 different counties.
Okay.
I'm grateful I just have the west side of Lawton to take care of.
Okay.
And we each have 40,000 constituents, give or take.
Wow.
So Lawton as a whole, we're about 90,000, including Fort Sill, one of the major U.S. Army bases in the entire country. So it's home.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool to be able to advocate for my hometown in this way. And it's going on 7 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you get into politics, number one? And then what was the process like when you said, hey, I'm going to run and I'm going to win.
This was not the plan. And I think folks can relate that you start life with a series of expectations and your own plan, and then God's got his own plan that you just have to trust him. And that's ultimately what happened here. So I was born and raised in Lawton, and my parents are from South Korea originally. So they immigrated in 1983, and they opened up their own dry cleaning business in 1989. And I grew up with that culture of work ethic, giving it your all, perseverance, certainly being mission driven, all of those sorts of values. And so I was gravitating toward medicine. I wanted to be a family physician. I thought that was the best and most direct way to help people. And ultimately, after I went to school at University of Oklahoma. I'm a proud Sooner. We're here in Norman, so it's great to be back in my old stomping grounds. Looking forward to the game this Saturday, of course, with Michigan State. But yeah, I was pre-med my freshman year of college, and then the more I thought about that path with undergrad, with med school, and with residency, it's a calling. And I went back home to Lawton that winter holiday during Christmas break, and ultimately prayed about it and just did not feel that was not the right path for me. So I went back undeclared in the spring semester, and I took American federal government. I started getting more involved in student government, and that sense of public service and just being policy oriented, that felt like my calling. And so I decided to declare in economics and political science, tagged on an MPA, Master in Public Administration, and went from there. And was honored to be elected the student body president at OU.
Wow.
And if we were to go to campus right now and tour the food pantry, that is an issue that we started under our administration, because food insecurity, I personally learned more about that through that leadership position, and OU Housing and Food, the Regional Food Bank of Norman, they all wanted to partner together for this resource.
Yeah.
And so it just made sense that we get this done. I also had opportunities to intern for my state representative at the time, John Michael Montgomery, in 2015, after he got elected. And then I interned for Congressman Tom Cole in D.C. The summer of 2016.
Yeah.
So I did contemplate perhaps there would be potential at the Oklahoma State Capitol, maybe on the Hill in D.C., but ultimately decided to move back home to Lawton. I think for many people in my generation, that's not really typical. You know, they want to move to Dallas or go to the big city outside of Oklahoma. But I felt called to go back home to Lawton and see what happened there. And I had shadowed our city manager the previous year, and so I called him up. There weren't a lot of job openings before I was about to graduate, but as a part-time assistant to him and to the mayor, that was an option. And so I decided to take it. And there was a brief period of time where, I don't know if you watched Parks and Recreation. It's a great NBC sitcom. That had just wrapped up by the time I was graduating. And so I did feel a little inspired by that show and decided to move back, maybe, become a city manager one day. And then I mentioned John Montgomery. He had just gotten married that summer, and we were just catching up. And he told me about his plans for running for the state senate in the following election cycle. And then he said, I think you should consider running yourself to take my place. And that caught me off guard. So I talked to my mom and dad about it, prayed about it, and just decided these types of doors don't open every day. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I'm a firm believer, you got to shoot your shot. Like, even if you fail, even if you stumble, at least you tried.
Yeah.
And that was my whole attitude going into this campaign. So keep in mind, I had graduated from college in May of 2017, and then I had announced my campaign in September of 2017. And I was just 22 at the time.
Yeah.
And so the advice I was given and the advice I give to this very day to any candidate is you got to knock on doors. You can have all the TV advertising and digital campaigning, all that's important, but you have to put into work, pound the pavement, meet people directly, one-on-one. And so my team gave me a list on the app that I use frequently, and I just went neighborhood to neighborhood. It helps being in a compact district where I could choose a neighborhood, wherever I was feeling, and just start walking from there. It also helped that growing up in that setting where I knew a lot of my former teachers, had friends, people who knew my parents through the dry cleaners. So I enjoyed the campaigning part. And I knocked on Democratic, Republican, Independent, Libertarian doors, whomever was a registered voter. I think that's important that you at least connect with folks.
Sure.
You may not agree. The conversation may turn in the direction where you're not on the same page, but at least you can talk.
Sure.
And they know who their representative is. So I did that for the better part of a year, and ultimately about 8,000 people voted, give or take. I won by 42. So I know for a fact that door knocking paid off, and I think it's important for folks to recognize that my particular district, it is truly one of the few remaining competitive districts, or purple district, swing district, whatever you want to call it. Because of the military connection we have, it is relatively diverse. There are people from all walks of life. I used the phrase mission-driven earlier. I think that's most folks in the district where, in the community, they don't care about your party. They just care about seeing government work and you getting results for them.
Sure.
And that was my whole campaign message then, and even most recently last November. And so I have no doubt there were just enough folks, 42 to be exact, who felt the same way I did. And I'm very, very thankful that they took a chance on a 23-year-old fresh out of college. And here we are 7 years later.
Yeah, because you just turned 30 recently, last month.
Yes, and thank you
July,
for the ribs.
Right?
Yeah, they were delicious. If you don't know, like, this guy can definitely smoke his meats. Yeah.
Yeah, so Daniel's correct. We play Michigan this weekend, and then also John Michael Montgomery, not to be confused with the country singer John
Right.
Michael Montgomery. Speaking of country, do you like country music?
I'm open to it. I'm more of a classic rock kind of guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Love all the '80s stuff.
Yeah. And we talked about cattle and all that. What's your favorite cut of steak, and then how do you take your steak?
Well, I like my steak medium rare.
Okay. Good.
And, like, depending on my mood, I usually go for a filet mignon, but I can eat a ribeye if I'm truly hungry. So
Man.
I'm not. I'm open-minded when it comes to my steak.
Yeah.
But medium rare for sure.
Okay. So let's go back to pounding the pavement, knocking on doors, whether it's a Democrat, liberal, or Democrat, liberals, they're all the same to me. Conservatives, libertarian, independent. Sitting in someone's living room is pretty sacred, kind of like being in someone's kitchen. It's a sacred place. And when they let you in, how does the conversation start?
Quite honestly, in Lawton, and I'm sure in other communities this is the case, but the first question they ask is what high school I went to. And so I say, I went to Lawton High. There's a good chance that I knew their son or daughter because we were in the same grade. But that's really what they want to know. And then really the meaning behind that is, do you have strong connections and roots in this community? And I certainly do. And from there, we might talk about whatever is on the news that day. So it was different knocking doors this past cycle where 7 years ago, most people didn't know who I was. And I looked a lot younger, so they were probably confused why this kid was knocking on the door. But now I think I've proven myself. I've got a record to campaign on of accomplishments. And so most of the time, it was encouraging that they recognized me and they just said, keep up the good work. You got our support. And so the interactions were pretty quick compared to the first time where I did invest in a lot of those heart-to-heart conversations where and I'm not married, but I know in a marriage that you're not going to agree with your spouse 100% of the time.
Sure.
But it's about communication.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that you have that open dialogue. And that's the way I approach this job and this leadership position is that because I represent such a diverse constituency, they will probably be mad at how I vote on this bill or that bill. But so long as we keep that open line of communication, I think that's what they care about. And so I'm proud of the fact that there are many Democrats and independents who have said that I'm the only Republican they'll ever vote for, period, just because that we've developed that rapport and that trust, wherein they feel that even though I may vote differently than they want XYZ issue, at least that if they call or email the office or they have an issue with the tax commission or with the VA or what have you, they know they're going to get helped.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I've approached governing. And that's, as far as being in a very purple district, you have to do that.
Sure.
But just in general, I think we're at a point now in the country where things have become so polarized.
Yeah.
And it's hard to sit down one-on-one just like this with someone of an opposite political preference and have debate, have discussion, and still go out and fellowship together over a meal or over a drink. We can't lose that ability as a country. If we do, we're just helping our adversaries overseas.
Sure.
Because they enjoy seeing the division and us being stagnant.
Yeah.
And so I'm a firm believer that we have a lot more in common than not, and we got to maintain those bridges.
Yeah. It seems like the messaging is how can we collaborate and unite to be stronger as one instead of being divisive, polarized, and losing friendships of years because of a political stance on maybe one issue or 10 issues, it doesn't matter. But it seems like that has become more common now than not. And I speak from experience because I've had a couple, 3 friends that I've been friends with collectively for over, let's say, all of them about 30 plus years. And they didn't agree with my politics, and they just said we're no longer friends, which is kind of hurtful because I'm like, man, it took a long time to build a friendship.
Right. And think about family too. That's the Thanksgiving dinner tables are not as full as they once were, and so relatives no longer speak with each other based on who you voted for, and I think that's sad. Yeah, because I mean those relationships, they should be fundamental and they should be rock solid despite your differences in opinions on a candidate or on an issue. And so I'm proud of the fact that I've got friends from all different persuasions, and in terms of my portfolio with legislation, it runs the gamut. I'm not really driven by ideology. I'm more driven by, does this policy make sense? Can it help people? And in the long run, can it make a difference for Oklahoma? Regardless of the politics. And if you ask any of my colleagues, that's the reputation that I've developed in terms of advocating for nuanced, oftentimes politically challenging policies. But at the end of the day, it's good policy.
Right.
And some of these take exactly 51 votes to pass in the House. But that coalition building, I love that challenge. And I love... right now, we're not in session. We'll go back in February, but right now we're in that brainstorming phase. So we're listening to ideas and feedback. We're going to conferences and hearing from other state legislators. This is really fun right here. And ultimately, when a bill is passed, it becomes law. It's extremely gratifying, having gone through the process, which has a lot of ups and downs, and it is a difficult process. I think that's what the founders intended. But it's so worth it in the end, I would say. Yeah.
Man, I love that, Representative Pae. Is you talked about the fundamentals and what's great for the state of Oklahoma, not just Wong Lam or whomever else that might be. It's for the greater good. I feel like people have lost what's best for the greater good. Instead, it's usually me.
Yeah. And I've never, even when I was running for high school junior class president, up until now, I never really cared about titles or power.
Sure.
And I think that's what drives up politics so much in this country right now. And people are afraid to lose elections. And so they talk a certain way, they present themselves in certain ways just to get reelected.
Right.
And I always believe there's life after politics. And with term limits in Oklahoma, there has to be life after politics.
Yeah.
I'm in year 7. I can go up until year 12.
Right.
So I will cross that bridge sooner than later. I'm not afraid. Now, am I, like, naturally as a human, you're kind of nervous about the great unknown and what goes
Sure.
on after being in a stable job for this many years. But that's life. And you should never compromise your values or your principles just to keep a title.
Mm.
And, talking to one of my good friends who's a freshman, and this concept about how we're in the bubble oftentimes in the legislature and in government. And it's good to be back out in our constituencies, talking with folks, to keep ourselves grounded. But the temptation is there where you think you have this big title and you're a big deal. But I appreciate my family and friends who keep me humble.
Yeah.
And I recognize that, again, there's more to life than just winning elections.
Yeah.
And I've lost a few, and that's okay. Because life is not just about winning and celebrating those successes. It's about how you deal with that failure when you do stumble and make mistakes, and how you grow from that as a leader. And that's what I've, being 3 decades now on this earth, what I've appreciated from all those experiences.
Man, that's a really grounded and actually quite humbling conversation we just had about, after you complete your 12 years, there's life after politics. And there's something else because this great country affords you opportunities to level up, to do something else. And so speaking of leveling up, I'd like to give you our gift.
Oh, well, thank you. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's got the hashtag on it, too.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so whenever you drink coffee or tea or something, that you'll know that, hey, I'm going to level up, and whatever happens, and I'm going to make something good of.
Yeah, and life is so unpredictable.
Right.
I mean, I've got 4 more years left based on the constitutional term limit, but we'll see where life takes me, and I'm certainly keeping an open mind at this point.
Yeah.
You never know.
So speaking of 4 more years, probably a couple months ago, we were talking about politics. I came up to meet you, and we were just talking about, because you're the executive director of the Asian Chamber, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm not going to run again." And then all of a sudden, a few weeks ago, I'm talking to you, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm running again." I saw the social media post. So, what made you decide that, hey, I'm going to defend this crown?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say my heart initially when I started the year, it was leaning more toward moving on to a new adventure. Because I do believe in the merit of you have to, at some point, know when it's time to move on. You should not stay your welcome. We've had many national politicians who've never been able to fully pass on the baton until you had to take it from their hands. And I didn't want to be in that position because as leaders, we should recognize when it's time to empower whomever comes after us, the next generation. And that's what keeps our system of government functioning. And typically 6 to 8 years has been the natural time of service for most legislators.
Okay.
And so I was reaching that point, and it felt like a natural transition point. But this past session, the more I reflected on it over the summer, it was by far the most challenging because of some of the bills that I had to advocate for. And being chair of one of the budget subcommittees for the first time, so mine's primarily focused on human services. Think about DHS, think about SNAP. A lot of those programs and agencies are under this committee's purview. That was also challenging, but overall it was very rewarding because I've had the years of service now. I know who I can call. I know with constituents that they have issues, how to help them. And that comes with any profession where you accumulate all that experience and knowledge where you feel well positioned for whatever comes next. And so it was hard to walk away knowing that was there. And I mentioned SNAP. And certainly with the new federal law, we will have to make some decisions in the coming years.
Yeah.
And the easy decision for me would be just to walk away and say, it's not my problem. Like, you guys take care of that on your own. But the more I prayed about it, it felt like unfinished business. And I want to make sure that with that particular issue, we do it right. And, I believe you got to finish what you start. And I think also what happened in Minnesota early in the summer with the assassinations and the shootings that took place and that helped me in terms of my address is public. And I give out my cell phone number to anyone you're asked for. So you can pretty easily find where I live. And that's the same thing with colleagues, because that's part of the agreement is that we are public officials and therefore we should be accessible to the general public. But it didn't really scare me, honestly, when I saw that on the news. It more so inspired me that we have the responsibility as electeds to make sure we're in the arena, that we're fighting a good fight. Otherwise, we send a message that we can be intimidated and threatened, and that's okay. And I totally understand that my style of politics and leadership, where it is more focused on coalition building, not so much in just talking smack about my opponent or whomever, but I want to find some sort of commonality. That's becoming more and more rare in our contemporary age. But I still believe in that, because I think that's what the founders intended for our system to be functioning toward, is compromise and collaboration. And I wanted to send a message that you still have hope and faith in our system of government.
Right.
And I don't think I'm quite done yet when it comes to legislation.
Yeah.
And so all those are reasons why I decided to reconsider and ultimately run again. And that is not how I started 2025. And I think that is life right there, where, again, going back to an earlier point I made, where you have your plan and then God's got his plan.
Sure.
And you just got to take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
And trust in him and trust in the process. That's what I'm doing right now.
I love it. Are you a Kobe Bryant fan?
Yeah, I have great respect for him.
Okay, so the late, great Kobe Bryant in an interview once said, the job's not finished. That sounds like what you just said in the last few sentences. The job's not done.
Yes.
Yeah. A phrase comes up in my mind thinking about you as a servant leadership. I feel like that's your heart and your passion. So good for you, man. Good
Thank
for
you, Wong. Yeah.
What your parents immigrated in '83, is that what you said? And so, what was it like, or what is it like, being raised in a South Korean culture versus the Westernized culture? What are some drastic differences that have you noticed?
Well, I'm definitely partial to Korean food. Big fan of it. I personally love bibimbap. Obviously kimchi, and so cuisine, I would say, is a difference growing up, where you have typically rice, some soup, your protein, and then a whole bunch of side dishes.
Yeah.
Obviously, American cuisine is more simple and straightforward. I think in terms of the culture overall, you got to think about South Korea with its history, where you had the Korean War in the mid-century. The mid-20th century, and that's when my parents grew up. They were born in '58, right after the Korean War ended. If you go there right now, it's night and day. And so I think that speaks to the resilient nature of the Korean people and how they were able to rise from really, really tough economic times and societal upheaval to the country that they are now.
Sure.
And certainly with my mom and dad, because they came here with little to no money, they couldn't speak English, they hardly knew anyone in Lawton, and to now where they are today, that's really the American dream. And I think that's with a lot of immigrants in general, and you and I are both Asian American, and we are among over 100,000 in this state.
Mm.
I think we can relate to that notion of where you just want to find a better life for your family. That's when Mom and Dad came, and they had no knowledge about military protocols or how the uniforms was supposed to be structured or things like that. But they felt it was the right thing to do to open up a laundromat and just learn and grow that business.
Wow.
And here they are today, a few decades later. And so very proud of them, and certainly very thankful for all the knowledge they've imparted on me growing up.
Yeah. Was your mom or dad strict with you, very disciplined with you growing up?
Yeah, I think my dad certainly was. He had the whenever I did misbehave, which was very rare, but whenever I did, he was ready to have a talk with me and say, "Hey, like, this isn't right. You do better." And so it sucked in the moment, but I appreciate the lessons he imparted in retrospect.
Right.
And I think a lot of people wonder if maybe with initially being on the medical track, if that was something that they wanted. Quite the opposite. They expected me to go something political, and they were surprised I wanted to be a doctor in the first place. And so they were very supportive when I made the pivot. And if you go to the dry cleaners today, you'll see newspaper clippings and some of the initial push cards I put out for the campaign on the wall. So you'll know it's their cleaners when you walk in.
That's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to be an American to you?
So I think we're about to celebrate 250 years as a country next year. So I would say being proud that this is a country where opportunity is abundant. People like my mom and dad who came from little to nothing and are now very successful. I think those values of entrepreneurship, personal responsibility, of just contributing to a cause greater than your own. You hear the term melting pot quite a bit, and I think America, we are unique compared to other countries around the world where we have different regions, different political views, different ethnicities, but we're all together because we believe in that system of government, being a democratic republic. We elect our representatives, our senators, to make law. And so I think that's what separates us and makes us unique, is that we have so many different nuances, but we're bounded by those values and principles that for over 250 years have made us a superpower and the greatest country in the world.
Love it, man. Do you speak Korean?
I'm proficient, not fluent.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can get by.
You can get by.
More conversational, I would say. I can't talk politics or religion in Korean. Nothing that complicated.
So how do you say "I love America" in Korean?
미국 사랑해요.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So you're proficient. That means you can carry on a conversation with your mom and dad.
Yes.
Yeah. And with the Korean community around here.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been to a few Korean markets and like Midwest City.
More
has one. I think somewhere off of Class in the Asian District has one as well. But yeah, I don't venture out too far as food. I mean, the kimchi and
I forgot to mention bulgogi. I mean, that's.
But I was gonna say, I was trying to think of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Super good. And the big thick white noodles. What's that called?
Udon or naengmyeon.
Udon. Udon's
yeah.
good.
Uh-huh.
But then there's like the short, stubby white pasta rice noodle too. And they put a lot of
Dok.
Yeah.
That's a tteokbokki. It's a spicier version of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I had that when I was in LA
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, it's so good.
Yeah, add some tempura to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
What about American food? What besides steak, what's your go-to in American food?
I'm a foodie, so I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to anything that's local. I've got my own spreadsheet I've got my own Instagram account that I keep track of. So I mean, I'm always down for a good burger and fries. Any barbecue ribs.
Yeah.
And other than that, I did study abroad in Italy in college, and so
Okay.
I fell in love with Italian food
Yeah.
while I was there. I can always be down for Mediterranean food too. There's a lot of great Mediterranean restaurants in the metro here.
Sure.
So I'm not picky. I like to be adventurous.
Yeah.
In my food selection.
You said hamburger and fries. Have you been to Little Mike's Hamburger? Off
No,
of
I've
Christmas?
not. No.
Yeah. We should go sometime. Pretty soon. He's probably got the best burgers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And fries. So
And all of the Oklahoma City Metro, you're saying?
all Oklahoma City Metro is off Northwest Expressway and probably close to Council. But what I can do is I can go from my office. I can pick you up, and then we can head out west. That'd be my treat. Spreadsheet. You keep a spreadsheet of places to eat that you like. You rank them, or how's this spreadsheet?
Just like the whole Oklahoma City Metro and places I've been to. So kind of by different districts, and if I remember a certain waiter, waitress, or manager, or a certain appetizer, try to make note of that.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think like with friends, like you gather around and you ask like, hey, what do you want to go eat? And it's like, I'm down for wherever. It's like, okay, but we got to make a decision now. Like we can't talk in the circle. And so like my friends and I, we actually use the spreadsheet to narrow down some options. Like, okay, like we want to go to the Plaza District,
Sure.
Paseo District, whatever the case may be. And so we got some options to consider from there.
Okay. Plaza District.
Mm-hmm.
What's the go-to in there?
So the Plaza District, well, you got Madure and Bar Sen. And
Yeah.
Bar Sen's the more recent addition to that area. And talking about burgers, New State
Okay.
is right there next to Good for a Few, which is a really cool speakeasy.
Okay.
I know Asteria just came in. I've not been there since they moved locations, but
Right.
when I was there, it was up in Nichols Hills
Yeah.
pre-COVID.
Right.
And that's kind of why I used to go there.
I love that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Or when it was up in Nichols Hills.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to live. I would love to live in Nichols Hills.
It's got some pretty houses up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a goal. One day, man.
Mhm.
One day. Because my parents, when they came over from Vietnam, that was one of their first jobs is mowing yards in Nichols Hills.
Really?
Yeah, it'd be
That's some
pretty
big
cool.
yards to mow.
And they were
Yeah.
huge yards. But
Mhm.
they were very friendly neighbors there.
Mhm.
Treated my parents really well. So, what's your favorite breakfast?
Man. So I'm more of a brunch guy, but Cafe Cacao, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a table because it's such a long wait, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And so I'm down for any omelet, I would say specifically. Love a good omelet.
Okay.
Have you been to Good Gravy?
Yes, off of Western.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's by Nichols Hills too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 40 different types of gravy.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. When I was in Norman, the calf during my undergrad days,
Yeah.
that was a go-to.
Yeah.
But I wish I'd explored more of Norman cuisine while I was here. It's like the diner.
Mm-hmm.
I think it closed recently, but Syrup used to go there.
Yeah.
So some pretty cool places down here too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What are maybe two questions you wish people would ask Representative Pae or Daniel Pae, but no one ever asked?
Wow. That's a good question. I think more so just like what's it personally like being in this type of public role, like how to handle the pressure of that. That'd be the first one, and then second, just general interest in hobbies. I think like obviously we live in serious times, but sometimes like it's good to see what someone's like in their free time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hear the
I
answers.
was gonna say I was wondering about that. So as far as what's like being such a young person
Right.
in this role, I would say it's been different in my 20s where, let's be honest, like you do stupid things and you learn from those mistakes, and for me, it is to some degree like living in a glass house. You have to be mindful of where you're at and who you're hanging out with. We all have smartphones, and anyone can upload a video to social media. If I'm out at a tailgate, having a good time, and I agree with having a high standard for our elected officials, no doubt about it. But we're all human beings as well.
Sure.
In our 20s, that was different than a lot of my peers, and having that higher standard to be held to. But nonetheless, it's such a really awesome experience being in this type of role and being able to represent Lawton, being able to represent Oklahoma both nationally and internationally with some of the places I've been able to go to. Recently, I was recognized as a legislative champion for Mental Health America.
Yeah.
For my work on those types of issues, and that was very humbling. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices you got to make. And I think right now in my stage of life where I'm not married, I don't have young kids, it does help with flexibility. I know many of my colleagues, God bless them, I do not know how they balance legislature, family, and then another business or professional obligation. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I've already have enough on my plate. So it does give me flexibility. I do want to settle down at some point and raise a family, and hopefully that'll come. That day will come. And as far as the second question about what I do for fun, I actually like to go for runs. I did a 5K over the Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
In Scissortail Park. So I've become a runner. I believe in fitness and exercise. You have inspired me with your daily posts to not hit the snooze button, but you've inspired me. I haven't quite gotten to actually executing it myself. I'm working on it. But I like, honestly, during session, that's when I truly have to wake up early, and I find a lot of peace and quiet in those early morning hours. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
But I do like to travel and see the country, see the world. Been to many different places. That's been a lot of fun. And more recently, I decided to take on comedy improv, and that's in the Plaza District.
Okay.
So went through 5 different levels of courses, and that was a lot of fun, and certainly not on my bucket list. But I'm glad I did it, and quite honestly, it's very helpful for politics and just being a public official, because you never know what question's going to be thrown at you, and
Right.
you can always respond accordingly now with those skills.
Man.
Yeah, so and besides being a foodie and a pretty avid movie, TV show watcher, that's, if we're going to play trivia, that's my category of strength. It's pop culture.
Okay.
So I know all the random facts when it comes to that sort of thing.
Give our listeners a couple random facts. Something that we may not know.
Oh, I mean, Jim Carrey improvised a line in a series of unfortunate events when Count Olaf is first introduced on screen. It looks like it was in character, but he made a mistake and he forgot his line. Stranger Things is about to end here in a few months, and so the Duffer Brothers, those the creators of the show, they made a deal with Paramount Plus. They made a deal with another studio. I actually don't remember if it's Paramount Plus, but they're moving on from Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, those are random facts.
But if you're in a trivia competition, those questions come up about series of unfortunate events for Stranger Things.
Oh man, yeah, I would fail. I would. Yeah, I'm boring though. So
You not watch movies and TV shows?
no. It's depends on the movie and TV shows. Not really. I don't hardly ever watch any TV. To be honest with you, I barely watch sports. I enjoy a soccer game, but
Yep. I'm actually doing fantasy football for the very first time this year. I did March Madness for the first time in the spring, and so I decided, why not? I'll figure out what this fantasy football is all about.
oh man,
Which I think that's tomorrow with the first game, so we'll see how my roster does. Yeah.
Kickoff for NFL,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how do you deal with negativity though?
So you're saying like someone talks crap about me?
Talks crap about you, posts crap about you.
We can pull up social media right now. I'm sure there's someone doing that as we speak.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you got the haters in life. And what I've learned is that you just got to ignore them and just remember there are people in your corner, your family and your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some days where it does get to you. Like, again, we're all human beings in these leadership positions. And so you've got to take it a day at a time and just remember, especially on social media where a lot of those folks, it's a black hole if you go in the comment section and look at all those negative comments that are being made. So I try not to do that. But you just got to remember, like, I mean, they don't really know you personally, and a lot of them just have nothing better to do with their lives. So I've learned that as you progress in your leadership journey, that if you're not pissing someone off and if you're not trying to ruffle feathers, you're not doing a good job, because you will inevitably make someone mad.
Yeah. Sure.
With your decision on X, Y, Z. That's okay. Life's too short to try to walk on eggshells and make everyone happy. You just got to be yourself. That's how I've stayed true.
Sure.
All these years, and yeah, anyone who's negative or discouraging, let them have it, and I'll continue to do my own thing, and certainly my faith, and just remembering that it'll all be okay in the end, and you don't have to worry about this sort of thing right now in the present. God will take care of that.
Love it. Are people surprised that you're conservative?
Being a Republican, yeah. But I'm fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
I believe in having a balanced budget and a sensible tax code, those sorts of things. I think on the social issues, I'm more libertarian.
Sure.
And
sure.
going back to that concept of individual rights and personal responsibility. So I suppose a lot of the classical conservatives over the years in American history, think Ronald Reagan, for example. And I'm also a big supporter of a strong national defense, much like he is. He was, because of representing a military community.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think that's all why I gravitate toward that side of the political spectrum.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also looking at identity politics. And I disagreed with the notion that because you're a minority or because you're a woman, you have to be on the Democratic side.
Sure.
I think regardless of who you are, you should lean that way or the other. It shouldn't just because of how you look that you should be stereotyped with one political party or the other. And so I think right now, if you look at the Asian American community, the Hispanic American community, with the most recent election results, it wasn't just to one side or the other. It was pretty much, I would submit, both are becoming swing voters, and they want to see who has the best policies, the best ideas for my family and my well-being. So I don't think it's a guarantee that as Asian Americans or any other minority group that it's all going to be Democratic voters, because that for a while there, that was the assumption, demographics being destiny.
Yeah.
And Texas and a lot of these other states where you have more diversifying populations, where that will be guaranteed Democratic states. And I think this recent election showed that's not the case. And I think both parties have to appeal to these voters who, especially Asian Americans, we are the fastest growing demographic by far in the country. So we can't be ignored.
Right.
And there are many Asian Americans just like us who are Republicans. And so you can't just stereotype and consider this a monolithic race by any means.
Right. Yeah, that's really interesting, and several interesting points you brought up, especially with women and minority groups stereotypically being more on the Democrat liberal leaning side. And I just don't understand how that became even about. So it's always been fascinating on putting people in these groups and saying, oh, you're Asian, so you're probably liberal. Because I've been stereotyped
Mm-hmm.
as that before, and then they come and find out something different. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know that." I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Man, that's kind of racist, dude." For
Mhm.
you to even
Assume, yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I've been called a racist before, which is
So have I.
wild.
Yeah.
Man, you have to?
Yeah. I don't really, when you think of white supremacy, you don't think of the two of us, I would hope. So, yeah, that's par for the course. For going back to the
Wow.
negativity,
Yeah.
if someone disagrees with you being called a racist, sexist, or whatever.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's crazy. If you could have coffee and conversations with 3 people living or passed away, who would they be and why?
So I would say Steve Jobs, number one. Big Apple guy, as you know.
Yeah.
And we'd love to pick his brain on his leadership at the company and it's kind of where he thinks technology is at right now. Henry Bellman,
Yeah. Okay.
first Republican governor of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And he also founded the Oklahoma Academy, which is a pretty cool organization. And just to really, you talk about servant leadership. This is a guy, he's a farmer, not a great public speaker by any means, but he loved Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and he just wanted to give back. And then Christopher Nolan, he's one of my favorite movie directors.
Wow.
I know you think about the Dark Knight trilogy, Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's filming, or might maybe just finish filming The Odyssey for next year. And so that'd be really fun to
Yeah.
have a conversation with him, just about the state of film
Yeah.
and society.
That's
So
awesome.
those would be my 3.
Cool. What are a couple of your favorite movies?
Oppenheimer, I watched that like 3 times in theaters in
Wow.
IMAX. It's political, it's historical. Love Cillian Murphy. He's a fantastic actor and well deserved for the Oscar for Best Actor. I'm a big Disney Pixar guy,
Okay.
and so I'm partial to Toy Story.
Okay.
I'm excited for Toy Story 5 to come out next year. See, these are surprising things you probably didn't know about me. But yeah, Disney Pixar movies, I can watch those. Harry Potter, which I will, they're rebooting the series on HBO. So
Okay.
they're making a TV show now, 1 season per book. And I have all the books, I have all the movies at home.
Okay.
But yeah, growing up, and right now in the fall, this is kind of the time to marathon those movies. So I will get started with that shortly. But yeah, I think those are some of my favorites
Okay.
off the top of my head.
Speaking of Harry Potter,
Mhm.
did you know that OU offers a Harry Potter class?
They didn't when I was an undergrad.
Right.
Wow.
So I was talking to my administrative assistant and asking, "Hey, what class are you taking? Are you about to graduate?" He's like, "Yeah, I graduate in May of 2026." He only has 12 hours left, and he said, "I'm going to just take the easiest electives." And one of them, he said, was Harry Potter. And so I looked, I was like, what do you mean you're taking a Harry Potter class at OU? He's like, "Yeah, they offer that as a class. Harry Potter. People are paying to go to school.
Is it an elective course?
It's a course. It's a Harry Potter course, man. I just had to stop. Okay, cool,
Wow.
man. Yeah.
It's like the books, like not the movies, but the actual books. I presume you got
I
to read.
presume it's in books, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I gotta look this up now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we should fact check that. But that's what he
I
told
can,
me.
I can go out of the class. I wouldn't mind sitting in the back row. And,
I don't know, man. Sounds
Yeah.
kind of something like Candyland to me, but
yeah, I kind of wish they had it in my undergrad years.
you would.
Yeah,
You would.
I would get an A+ in that class. That's another trivia strength of mine. Is Harry Potter. Yeah.
I've never seen any of those movies.
You haven't taken the test, I presume. What house you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be a Gryffindor.
What's a Gryffindor? Educate me real quick.
Like brave and
Okay.
pretty. I guess no matter what obstacles in front of you, you just want to keep moving forward.
I'll take that
driven.
as a compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you, Representative. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Well, and I'm a Hufflepuff, so loyal.
Yeah.
Loves friendships and relationships, and just kind-hearted.
Yeah.
Hmm
Wait, so you're saying I'm not kind-hearted? Is that what I'm
No,
understanding?
no, not kind with Gryffindor, that's assumed, but in terms of the traits that differentiate the houses,
No, I get
bravery
that.
comes
Yeah.
to mind.
Okay, that's awesome. What do you think you would regret in the next 5 years if you do not do it?
I would say in the campaign ahead, just if at this point I change my messaging or who I am just to win, because up until this point, I've had a lot of fun with these campaigns and just being authentic. And so, speaking of improv, last year, for example, I recruited 2 of my classmates, and the whole premise of the commercial was that these guys were my consultants who had to tell me what to say and how to dress. And the message was that no, like I don't need to be told that. Like I am who I am. There's about 15 minutes worth of B-roll footage where we just had the camera rolling, and we were improvising the whole time, and they were just pitching me weird, very off the wall ideas on campaigning.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun to record. But it's things like that I've enjoyed over the years of campaigning, of being unorthodox and just making sure that it's good to have a sense of humor in this gig. And I was told a long time ago that if you have patience and a sense of humor, you can get through life, no matter what life throws at you. I think back to your point or question about negativity, that's really what also keeps me going. Is that, if someone says something nasty about me or rude, laugh it off and then just be patient
Right.
and move on.
Would you buy yourself a drink or Coke or a tea, and why?
Would I buy myself a drink?
Yeah. If you saw yourself
Oh, okay. I
and you
see.
met yourself,
Yeah.
would you buy yourself a drink, and why?
Yeah, because I'd be curious to hear about the story behind the person. So yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I've always thought about that question to ask people, and I never asked. So you're the first one that got that question, because I just want to hear, do you love yourself? Do you like yourself?
Would you buy yourself a drink then?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like myself, and I like what I can give to society and contribute to society in my life. So, yeah. Thanks for throwing that question back at me.
Yeah. That's an improv skill.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I just did there.
Yeah. What's a defining moment in your life, if you think about that, maybe changed your trajectory? You talked about from medical to political. Do you have any more defining moments?
I think, the verdict will be out there, but as far as deciding to run again next cycle, because that's very much a crossroads moment where I could have decided to find a new career path. And there are a lot of reasons to do so as far as walking away and moving on from politics. But choosing to remain for the next few years, I think that would be probably a defining moment. And keep in mind, I just turned 30. It's a whole new decade ahead. And that was appealing as far as just starting fresh with that transition point.
Sure.
But I've also learned in life that it's very nonlinear. And there was part of me that thought that at this point I would be married and would have a family. And I think a lot of people in my generation feel the same way. But you can't have these artificial deadlines. You have to follow your heart and what you think is right.
Yeah.
And that's the decision I made in this instance.
I love it, man. Job's not finished.
Kobe Bryant. That's right.
That's awesome, man. So, do you have any aspirations of going to the Hill?
No.
No.
Wow. Well, and so John, he did win his election to the state senate in 2018, and he ultimately resigned because he decided to move on to a new opportunity back in Lawton, and so that was 2 years ago. And and I had also known that was a possibility. So I was not surprised when the announcement came out. But a lot of people strongly encouraged me to run for the Senate. And I briefly thought about it, but it just did not feel right. Back to my earlier point about I've never been about titles, never cared.
Sure.
I didn't, Simon Sinek, he's got the power of why. Start with why.
Yeah.
And so I never could figure that out. Like, why do I want to be a state senator versus being a state representative, besides the difference in the title? And it's double the size of your constituency, 80,000 people versus 40,000.
Right.
And I just knew I did not have the bandwidth or capacity to do a good job taking care of that many people. And certainly with Congress or anything statewide, same rationale. I think that's just beyond my capabilities as a leader. And I can take care of the 40,000 constituents in my House district fairly well at this point. And also because at that point, I hope that I'll be a good husband and a good dad. And I'm not saying it's impossible to be married and to do a good job as a federal or statewide elected official, but it's really, really tough. And I anticipate that this current political environment is going to be even more vitriolic. And unfortunately, family, it's harder and harder to get them off limits when it comes to some of the attacks and criticism. Yeah. And I think that's wrong. Yeah. Family should be off limits for any campaign. Sure. Focus on the candidates themselves. So, sure. No, I have no ambition as far as any federal or statewide politics. I do want to still be of service, just not as an elected. Okay. I don't know what that exactly looks like. I do know I want to stay in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And this is home, and I don't want to go anywhere else. But I will pray about what comes next. But I know for sure it will not be another elected position.
So that's a hard no, not a soft no.
I mean, so I've also learned in politics you can never say never.
Right.
You can never say never, but I mean that's as hard. Like that's a pretty firm. You'd have to convince me like pretty resoundingly to change my mind. And I've said this publicly as well at even candidate forums. Like I really had no desire to go to DC full time or be a statewide elected official. Okay. I think the other factor is privacy, right? Sure. Because you don't have a lot of. Even like this morning, I stopped by one of our local coffee shops in Lawton, and I got recognized. And people were friendly, and they wished me well. And I was in dress clothes, I suppose. But even if I'm at the gym trying to get a quick workout in, I still get asked about politics.
I bet.
About my thoughts on this bill or that bill, or what's going on nationally. And so I've got to stop my workout and be polite. And even like with friends, if we're out and about, I've even had like Uber drivers. I remember this was right before game 5 of the Thunder playoffs, and I got in my Uber. I was meeting some friends over at Fassler, and the driver turned around and said, "Hey, like you're a state representative, right?" And I said, "Yes," and turns out I actually spoke to one of his classes.
Wow.
The previous semester, and he remembered that.
That's awesome.
So it was cool, and like we had a great conversation. But and I was not in a suit, like I was in game day attire.
Sure.
But it's things like that where like I do want a little bit more privacy and being off the grid.
Yeah.
And going to Walmart, getting groceries without being recognized, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the higher up you go in office, the tougher that's going to be. You have to have a security detail, for example, where if you go. And
sure.
I just like doing my own thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. What are you most proud of?
So a lot of people would assume the Pae Way bill, which increased the speed limit to 80 miles per hour on the turnpike. And that also helped me get here on time before this recording from Lawton. But I would say... personally, just showing that as a young Korean American, that it's possible to have a seat at the table in government, and hopefully, I'm not going to be the last one who gets elected. I think in terms of policy, it can range from getting the Taiwan trade office established, advocating for mental health, trying to convince colleagues about sensible criminal justice reforms, AI, being a leader in that area. So I mean, there's a lot of legislation, and that's for any colleague you ask that same question, they're going to list off a bunch of bills. But I think just proving you can be someone who's very practical, level-headed, and focuses on good policy.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things I'd be most proud of.
That's awesome. How do you want to be remembered?
Kind of along the same lines, as a servant leader, and someone who paved the path for other Asian Americans to be more civically involved. And again, this is later down the road, but a good husband and a good dad.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, this was a great interview. It was fun, very charismatic. You're going to win again, so we'll have to have you come over and do a victory podcast and talk about your journey.